Hi, I'm Nick Eames.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caruso.
I'm RJ Barker.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Nick Eames. Nicholas? What should I say? Nicholas? Damn it. Hi, I'm Nicholas Eames. I am from Canada. My book is called Kings of the Wild. It is the first in a series called The Band that are all standalone novels. Alright, first science fiction or fantasy book I ever read. I think it was The Lord of the Rings. I was 2 years old. Just kidding, I was 4. My plan to survive a zombie apocalypse would be the same as my real life plan, which is to lay low, feign helplessness, and let others do the work for me. Kings of the Wild is about 5 friends getting together after a long time apart and setting out on the road to do one last amazing thing. People should read my book because my mom wants you to. It would break her heart if you didn't. Just break her heart.
I'm RJ Barker. I'm an author. My book is called Age of Assassins, except I always feel like I should say it as Age of Assassins. Why should you read my book? Because it has heart, you know. You'll care about the people. That's why you should read my book. And lots of stabbing. The first science fiction or fantasy book I ever read was The Folk of the Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton, and it had the last 3 pages missing. So I had to make up my own ends for it when I was about 6 or 7, and this is what you end up with. Obviously the hair and makeup, that's not Enid Blyton's fault, but the writing, that probably is, yeah. As many Pokemon as I can. Badger Hands, Rat Gaper, Metallica, Dennis Franz, Raccoon Face, Terminator, Pikachu, yeah, Pikachu, yeah, I think I got away with it, pretty sure I did.
Hi. My name is Vivian Shaw, and I write fantasy inspired by classic horror and pulp literature. I was born in Kenya to British parents and spent my early childhood in the UK and then moved to Baltimore when I was about 7 years old. I still live here. My favorite type of junk food, gonna have to say fries. Fries or the original kind of Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate. Between Star Trek and Star Wars, it's definitely going to be Star Wars, absolutely no question. I've been a huge fan since, well, ever. I've read the entire expanded universe. And in fact, I met my fiancé in the comment threads for a Star Wars fanfic I had written. So it literally brought us together. My book is called Strange Practice, and it's the first in a series of novels about Greta Helsing, who is a doctor to London's supernatural community. Greta Helsing has inherited her family's highly specialized and somewhat peculiar medical practice, and although barely making ends meet, she's living a quiet, uneventful, supernatural-adjacent life in London until a sect of murderous monks emerges, intent on attacking both the quick and the dead, and as terror takes hold of the city, Greta must use her unusual skills to try to stop the cult if she hopes to save her practice and her life. People should read Strange Practice because it offers something that's quite new to the world of fantasy: sensible vampires.
Hi, I'm Dale Lucas. I'm an author. I am a huge horror, fantasy, and sci-fi geek. I like to write really early in the morning before going off to my day job, and in my free time I like to read and travel and fill my head with all kinds of exciting and interesting useless knowledge. And my new book, First Watch, is coming soon from Orbit Books to a bookseller or e-reader near you. The first fantasy book I ever read was probably one of the Elric books by Michael Moorcock. My older brother's best friend, they play Dungeons & Dragons together a lot and often would let me play long enough to kill me. He gave me one of his Elric books, and my 10 or 11-year-old brain got melted as I dove into it. For those of you who don't know, Elric is this awesome albino prince who wields magic, who rides dragons, and who has a sword that actually sucks out the souls of anybody that he slays with it, giving him power and energy, but also making him the sword's slave. I think reading that, such an unusual fantasy book with an unusual moral outlook at such a young age, probably twisted me for life. Favorite junk food? Chili cheese fries. Because, seriously, fries, chili, cheese. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of that. I'm really excited to offer you guys First Watch, which I like to present as a mashup between classic fantasy like Lord of the Rings and cop buddy movies like Lethal Weapon and 48 Hours. I think you should all give First Watch a try, because it takes two things that most of us grew up with and that most of us love, which is the cop buddy action movie and the big grand heroic fantasy with lots of swords and swashbuckling and magic and daring do, and it just squashes the two together. It's a nice fast read, it's a fun read, it's a good time, and I sincerely hope that all of you check it out and love it as much as I loved writing it.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caruso. I live in Massachusetts, about half an hour south of Boston. I'm not sure what the first fantasy book that I read was. I read a lot of fantasy books as a kid, but my favorite and probably the most influential was The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. Great book. Okay, zombie apocalypse. Here's my plan. I get a bunch of my friends together. I have very competent, badass friends. And get a bunch of supplies and head for like a small, uninhabited island off the coast. Because I'm pretty sure zombies can't swim, or at least very poorly. My book is The Tethered Mage. The Tethered Mage is about a nerdy political heiress who accidentally becomes the only one who can bind and loose the magic of very powerful, very dangerous ex-pickpocket fire warlock. And together they have to unravel a scheme to plunge their city into war. I think you should read The Tethered Mage because I think you'll really be turning pages as you watch the relationship unfold between these two characters who have nothing in common, but have to work together in the face of all of these twists and turns that this intrigue keeps throwing at them.
Hi, I'm David Mealing. I am going to debut with Orbit later this year with my first epic fantasy novel. My wife and I are avid MMO nerds. We met in an online game, and we life gets in the way these days of playing like we used to. But whenever we have the opportunity to just binge super hard on a new game, I'm filling the pantry with Cheetos and the fridge with Red Bull. So Cheetos and Red Bull, that's my favorite type of junk food. Ooh, Star Wars or Star Trek. I love them both. Star Wars is my choice for world building, right? It's a tight narrative that you can be going through a scene and there'll be a character in the background who implies a whole world, who implies a whole culture, and I love that. But if I had to choose between them, it's gotta be Star Trek for me, right? Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future, that's my utopia. Humanity in 2400, as envisioned in Star Trek, that's the world I want to live in. So that's my choice if I have to choose between them. But like I said, I love them both. So my book is Soul of the World. It is a big, thick, epic fantasy tome of the sort that when you first start writing, everybody tells you, do not write that book. I did not listen. I wrote that book, and I hope that you love it. It is French Revolution with magic, set in kind of my version of colonial America, right? So I think Marie Antoinette living alongside a magic-infused Iroquois Confederacy. Of course, the whole world goes up in flames, but that's the starting point. That's kind of where things begin. The world goes up in flames, like I said, but it's about real people with real problems in that kind of non-traditional, non-high medieval European fantasy. It's something a little bit different. And I hope that appeals to you, and I hope you give it a read, and I hope you love it.